brother. Appreciate you. All right, we got 10 seconds. Go ahead and put your stuff down. You might as well stand up. 10 seconds. Let's get this party started. We're gonna end incredibly strong. Get in the right zone. Show up. Show up for yourself. Show up for your business. Let's go. Come on in. Welcome back! Welcome back, real family! Go ahead and stand up. Let's end strong. Everyone, I see you. Stand up. Stand up. 1 hour left. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? Say yes. Say thank you. Hands in the air! Say yes! Would it be okay if I introduce myself? Yes! My name is Justin Nelson. I run the best team in the real estate industry. We have a 94-person mega team in the state of Utah. And the reason they asked me to be here today is I'm in the thick of it with you guys. I've been filled with emotion all day. I was meant to be here. I love pouring into you guys. And I kind of just want to come from the heart right now. Running a 94-person mega team comes with a lot of heartache, a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles. But the most important thing I want to express to you today is this. I have a 9-year-old son. I am his coach and I am his best friend. I did not lose my voice today. I lost my voice yelling at his playoff game on Saturday, which we won 19-0. He had a 31-yard catch and he had 4 tackles. Give Nixon a hand. I have an 18-year-old daughter. I am her emotional rock. I want to be her example forever of what a man is and how a man should treat a woman. And I do that by taking care of my wife, who I am absolutely committed to forever, my partner, my friend. The reason I say this to you is sometimes we're on stage talking about success, talking about strategy, talking about next moves, and we don't understand that we are human beings facing the same challenges. I have only had 2 emotional breakdowns this year. Give me a hand for that. One of them lasted 3 to 4 weeks, so it took a while to get out of that one. But I am out of that stronger. I am reinforcing my beliefs. And when you see these next group of people take the stage, I believe they're gonna have 3 things in common. This is what I am absolutely committed to as a leader, as a father, and as a husband. Number 1, you better get your body right. You guys, the last thing this industry needs is another real estate agent. And what they need is leaders. And I'm not talking about your physical body. I'm talking about your body language. How you choose to move, how you choose to express yourself. Yes, I'm having you stand up and put your hands in the air, but I'm doing that for a reason. I'm doing that to get the energy flowing so that you can build some certainty, some focus, and be the person that you need to be in this room. Does this make sense? Yes. Number 2, you have to, mission critical, get your language correct. My man Robin Sharma says world-class leadership language. I say it in a different way. Stop saying stupid shit. Everyone say it with me. Stop saying stupid shit. Number 3, you determine your focus. Whatever you focus on expands. And you can win in this market. This is your worthy challenge. This is your time to step up and be the person you were meant to be. It is in times like this that forever businesses are built. If you change the way you move, if you change your language, and you focus on winning. All of these leaders that are about to take the stage have these 3 qualities in common, and that is why they are taking market share. That is why they are building wealth. And I couldn't be more excited to end the segment with some of the best and most powerful and dynamic leaders in our company. And who else to bring them on stage but the muscle of our company, the true strength, the muscle. It is Sharon, everyone! On your feet, I said it, Sharon, everyone!
Sit down. We have an insane session planned for you, so I don't want to take any time, and I'd love to invite our billion-dollar panel up. So let's give it up for our amazing billion-dollar panel. Come on up, and I'll introduce each one of you. Miss Spring Benson from Utah Live. Grab a seat, grab a seat. Miss Corinne Wen with the Corinne Wen Real Estate Network in Arizona. Mr. Jeff McGonigal, Power Real Estate. And last but not least, my friend, my brother, Mr. Dean Aguilar!
Hello, everybody.
So I'm going to stand for this conversation. Before we start, there is billions of dollars on the stage right now from love, heart, production, and not only success, but mistakes made. So before we even get started, can we give them all an insane round of applause to get started? So I'm gonna put all of them on the spot, give you something super tactical, right? Let me do quick introductions first. Dean Aguilar with the Dean Aguilar Group right here in San Diego. Give it up for Dean. Woo! Miss Corinne Wen with the Corinne Wen Real Estate Network in Arizona. Give it up for Corinne. The amazing Spring Benson with Utah Life Real Estate in Salt Lake. Miss Spring Benson. And my neighbor, Mr. Jeff McGonigal, and his partner Jose run Power in Orange County, California. So I want to make this super tactical, and we want to find a way to peel back what amazing team leaders are thinking. So I got a few questions, so I'm gonna kick them off. So here's the first one. Jeff, we'll start with you, and we'll roll all the way back. What is one thing, Jeff, that you say a lot on your team that you feel like is powerful, gets the team going, and it's something about your team that you say a lot? What is something that you say a lot on your team?
Excuses are tools of incompetence that build monuments of nothingness.
Whoa, say that again?
Excuses are tools of incompetence that build monuments of nothingness. I used to have to write that on the board every day because I got in trouble in school. So I bring that same energy. And then probably a second one would be win on purpose. Opportunities are there. You gotta train for these opportunities. You gotta want these opportunities. You gotta pray for these opportunities. But when they come to you, you gotta take advantage of them.
So good. Dude, you got to write the first one down for me at some point. That's so good. So good. Spring, what is something that you all say on your team over and over again?
We say, what is the best market you're in? I mean, what is the best real estate market there is? And it's the one that you're in. Because it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what happened in 2020. It matters what you're doing today.
So good. It's so empowering to people, right? There's no excuse there after that.
Right.
Super good. Corinne, what is something that you say over and over on your team?
Yeah, there's two sayings that we say all the time. The first one is whatever it takes, because it's up to us, so you got to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And the second one is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing, you're complacent, and so you should always be at least across the line with that discomfort.
So good. Dean, something that is a Dean Aguilar group saying.
That's what she said doesn't count. Sorry, folks. I would have to say you only need one.
Hey,
That's my crew, by the way.
Explain, what is this? Talk about that.
Let me tell you why. So we're in an environment where everybody's getting their face kicked in, right? They're losing, they're not having deals, things are falling apart. And this is something that actually built this entire company for me, is I keep telling them, you're like one deal away from changing the course of your business. You only need one.
It's amazing. You only need one. You only need one. All right, we're going to go deeper on this one. Spring would love to start with you on this one.
Okay.
A lot of people think that, hey, you know what? The only way to riches is to starting your team. And you went through this whole process. Take us through, maybe take us a few minutes, take us through why did this team thing happen? Why did you start your team it was just you,
Yeah.
and then it is where it is now, where you're completely out of production.
Right.
So take us through that journey very quickly so people can get a sense of, man, I was there where Spring was.
So this isn't a very sexy answer, but it's the truth. I started a team because I joined a brokerage that promoted teams. And it was a terrible decision at the time, only in the sense I wasn't a leader and I probably shouldn't have started a team. But I ended up putting myself in the right rooms and learning what to do. And I ran a small team for years of Navy SEALs is what I'd call it, that we would have 4 to 5 producers, and we were the top team, one of the top teams in Utah. What ended up happening was I kept on having about every 2 years, people would leave, and the business would walk out the door, and I never was growing. And I finally decided to scale a little bit, and I got to about 12 agents, and that was my capacity. I was still in production. I felt like I was everything to everybody. I really wasn't making money if I honestly was took my production out of the equation, and I was just burned out. And so what ended up happening is I had a mentor and a coach that I respected at a really high level. I just said, I think I'm gonna burn this down. I don't wanna do it anymore. I'm not really making money. I'll go back into solo production. And he said to me, that's great, but do you really see yourself doing that? And the answer was no. He's like, well, then maybe it's time for you to turn it into a business. And I was like, well, that's a little offensive. Here I am thinking that I have a business. But what ended up happening was I ended up getting some leverage. So many of you guys have met Justin today. He is who I hired to run my sales team, and he's phenomenal. Give it up for Justin, everybody. And I started treating it like a business, knowing my numbers. And so in the last 4 years, we've gone from 12 agents to 92 agents.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations. It's so cool. What a great story. Corinne, why did you start the team? Kind of take us from 0 through today.
Yes, there's a lot of similarities here. I started in 2003 in solo agent. Through that journey, I actually started an independent brokerage in 2010. And in 2013, I made the decision that I really wanted to go deeper with people, and the economics that we established in the brokerage just didn't have a setup to do that. So we made a transition to start a team, and we started just sitting at a table. I was very prospecting based, so we did the same thing, sitting around, making calls. And in 2016, we built up to about 12 agents. That seemed to be our capacity. It's interesting. And the team imploded. And I think we were left with like two agents. We had somebody that came into the team, and for a variety of different reasons, that person became cancerous and talked about starting their own team. And we were able to save all the agents, but ultimately we got down to 2 agents. And it was really an emotionally tough time for my husband and I. We lost a baby during that time, and I too was like, do I want to keep doing this? This is a very humbling moment. And one of my core values is do whatever it takes. I used to say failure is not an option. A mentor corrected me to say, you're failing, you need to fail forward and fail fast. And I learned that it wasn't that failure wasn't an option, it's that quitting to me was failure, so quitting is not an option. So we redefined ourselves, and I learned, number one, what I was made of through that, and number two, to ask a really important question, which is, what am I choosing to focus on that's causing me to get the results that I'm getting right now? And so that was a very empowering question to look back to me and go, okay, how are we gonna change this up? How are we gonna actually do this more by design instead of maybe just ending up with a group of people? And so we created specific agents, the avatar, if you will, of who we wanted to be in business with, what the core values were, what we wanted that to look like. And today, I'm no longer in production. We're sitting at 46 agents, and really we've built that based on how do we get people into production, and income, I think, is the most important. Ben Kinney talked about that earlier. It's about income for them as fast as possible and consistently as possible.
So good. By the way, 46 agents, and Corinne will do over 600 transactions this year. So think about the power of that, right? Which is super powerful. Great story, amazing. Dean.
Started my career in 2000, actually, on the East Coast. I'm originally from DC. Grew on a small little team. And I was young, mid-20s. And 2008 hit, lost my ass completely. I was young, stupid, had like 3 houses, cars, swore I was Jay-Z in a club, just balling, fucking blowing money. And I spent hundreds trying to keep it afloat. So my wife and I, girlfriend at the time, decided we were gonna move to California. We needed to get away, we want to get to the beach, relax, regroup. So I got my license in California. And she went back to the restaurant business. I actually had a fitness job part-time for a little while. And as soon as I got my license, by the way, I didn't know anyone.
You had a fitness job.
I did. I had to go back to work, man.
Let them tell them exactly what the fitness job is.
So I actually was, before real estate, I used to be a personal trainer for years and years.
Got it.
So I had to get a part-time job. When we came over to California, we actually only had 3 months of rent. That was the goal. When I tell you I lost everything, I lost everything. So I had about 3 months to actually make it happen. And she actually got pregnant 1 month when we got into moving to California. So there's a lot of stress and pressure. I told her at the time, because there was obviously so much pressure to kind of get some money going, my exact words to her was, I only need one. That was it. And so what I did was, because I absolutely knew no one, we didn't have friends, family, I couldn't tell you where places from the border to Temecula was. I could tell you what Google was, so I knew everything. I did open houses, and because I needed to get in front of someone. So after about the 3rd week or so, I landed on one open house, mediocre, and I was closing up. Up this car comes, her name's Jane Cheney, and she had this little girl, 6 years old, face painted, balloon tied to her wrist, hops out of the car and says, can we look at the property? I said, sure, no problem, come on in. I spent 45 minutes at a kitchen table with her. Turns out Jen has a condo to sell. Fantastic, I go get the thing signed, we're showing property, showing one of the properties. The grandma comes with them, pulls me aside, says, I'm not going anywhere without my daughter. She lives in the same community. So within about a week, I list her property, and I'm showing another property with her, so now I got 4 deals. We get them all into escrow. Halfway through, she says, hey, I got a best friend. She's the president of the HOA where they all live. So within about 2 weeks after that, I list her property, showing her homes, and within 90 days, I had $90,000 in commission in my bank. And I made it happen. So as soon as I had that, essentially what happened was, by the way, went to dinner with my wife. One of the few times where I saw the look in her eyes, she was extremely happy. Just joking. And I said to her at the table, no shit, it was one of these restaurants I've never been able to afford before in my life. I looked at her and I told her, I said, I told you I only needed one. And it was so good because she starts crying. And she rarely cries, by the way. She's a high D, just like me. So we used every bit of that money. We invested back into the business. First thing I did, again, don't know anybody, internet leads. Buy Zillows, get enough deals going, got a buyer agent, then got an ISA, then got an assistant, rinse and repeat. All the production was allowing me to go ahead and get another buyer agent, more leads. And to this day, it was a 10-year relationship with Zillow. So now we have Flex, and we have the largest lead flow volume in San Diego. And we landed a couple weeks ago the Zillow listing program, in which in the first 10 days of the program, we've signed 9 listings.
That's amazing.
Absolutely crushing it. They have, thank you. 132 agents. This year, we'll probably do about 580 million.
Insane. Awesome. Jeff, how did it all start?
I came to California September 2017 for a wedding. The groom told me I'd be good at real estate. October, I moved here. And I had $5,000 in my name. I lived in Florida, so I was like, got 6 months rent. That's not 6 months rent in California. Went back, got my girl, started real estate, realized it's gonna take a year to get the license. October 22nd, 2018, I got my license, which was yesterday, 6-year anniversary. And then first year, just went out there and just did everything they told me to do. Just crushed it. Did like 40, then I did like another 50 in the 8 months following that. And then I had an opportunity to step up as a team lead on the team and ended up running 2 Zillows at the same time. Me and my partner, Jose, he was just crushing it. But we were underneath someone else's house. And when you're in someone else's home, you have to learn to respect someone else's home. So out of respect, we had to leave that home. And we went out, went from 6 people to 250 people in like 3 months, and then scaled back and got line drive focus. And we've just been going hard since then. So in those 2.5 years, we've done somewhere around 1,600 transactions. So it's just really, really dialed in. Jose's a genius, right? He can go out there, he can sell anything. And then I love the training. I love to dive in there with the team, with the agents. He's a sales guy, I'm a systems guy. It works. So just been having fun since then.
Awesome. Yeah, it's fun when you have a Spring and a Justin. It's fun when you have a Jeff and a Jose. It's fun when you have a Dean and Aphrodite, right? It's fun when you have Corinne and her husband and the entire team. Like, it's fun when you have those. Pretty amazing that you need a village.
Yep.
You need a village. How many of you are either have a team or are on a team, just for perspective? Raise your hands high. Amazing. Look around. Corinne, we'll start with you on this one. So everyone thinks running a big team is all that, extremely glamorous, etc., and you don't have any issues. So talk about that. What is something that people realize that don't realize that you have to deal with?
Yeah, I think it's the people, right? The people issues. So Kofi talked about it this morning, right? Like, there's the common things that we deal with, and then there's the uncommon things that happen. And so you're dealing with that, but times multiples, right? Like not just your staff, not just your clients now, it's also, your team members. And so it can be really easy to say, it's a business and not to take things personally, but you just become so attached, I think, to the people. And, sometimes agents think they have to go to a team and that they can't stay and grow within the team, which has been a passion of mine, is to make sure that we provide opportunity, that people can stay with us and grow as long as we're growing with us. And sometimes people need to go, like it's not the right fit, and they need to go somewhere else. But for me, that continues to prove to be the hardest one, not to take those things personally. And of course, we cheer them on and we celebrate that, but it just still sometimes hurts, when they leave you. So I think that's probably the toughest one to continue to endure, and where people's just life situations, show up. Yeah. And so you want to be in it with them, but at the same time, you're also running a business. So I think it's also being coached by one of my mentors to learn that you have to think of the business as maybe the most important person, because when you're maybe putting the interest of one singular person and their personal issues at the top priority, it could sabotage the mission for all of the people that have entrusted you and their lives and their families. And so it's just remembering to look at the business as a whole, just like you would treat an individual person. It's actually more important because it holds all of the people that have entrusted you.
So good. Think of your business as that most important person, right? That was a really, really smart way of saying this. Dean, what is something that people don't realize that you have to deal with?
Just one? I would have to say, I don't think people realize or are ready very much, as she said, to deal with a lot of different emotions. Sometimes you have to be a therapist, bartender, just about everything when you have agents. And I think beyond that, it's dealing with your own emotions, right? Because things are gonna go haywire all the time. And I think most importantly with your team, when you're first starting off, for those of you who either have husband and wife teams, you're trying to grow, you're trying to go from 10 to 20, there is gonna be a situation where you've poured yourself into someone, you've done everything you could to take them from 0 to 50 deals, and then that person leaves you. And the reaction usually is, I can't believe it, after all I've done for you, and then they just go off, right? It's happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to a lot of you. For me, I continue to do the same things that I will do day in and day out, is continue to pour into the other agents. I have 132 now. And while the agents that may leave me, I love them on the way out the same way I love them on the way in. Always, always. And by the way, I've had some that are completely disrespected to my face, and I still smile, give them a hug, tell them I love you. It's very hard to do. No one teaches you how to do that. However, I will always, always pour into my agents. I'll make sure that if someone does leave me, I'm never gonna be crippled by just that one person, because there's so many people that hopefully where they're changing their lives, that someone will step up to the plate, whether it be operations or agents. So I'll continue to do that until I'm dead.
So good. Awesome. Jeff, what is something that people don't realize that you have to deal with, you and Jose have to deal with?
You guys heard it, therapy.
Yeah.
Half your job is finding the kinks in your business, focusing on those kinks in the business. And then, like, I sit in a big glass room, and I want them to be able to see me all day. Like, so it's, because I just come into the office, and once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, someone's crying. When you have 100 agents, someone is getting a divorce, someone's sick, someone is sick, someone's having a baby, someone's graduating. All of these things happen, and a lot of times, they're more than, when you're really sitting down with people, a lot of times they handle transactions so well. But then when it comes time to self-reflect and handle that business that they have to take care of, they freeze. And you have to coach them through that. You have to remind them that you do this all day. Whenever someone needs a life change, they call you. Right? So I think that is the probably the part that is heaviest, because I can look at a KPI, I can look at something and say, all right, cool, here it is. Here's the kink in the business, right? But you got to help people keep going.
It's leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spring, what is something that people don't realize that you have to deal with?
I would say there's two things. One is, I would say profitability, to be honest. Like, the larger you grow, your expenses, and I think that a lot of people think we're making a ton of money, and our agents on the team are thinking we're making their 50% or whatnot, and just not seeing where the margins are at. So expenses and controlling them is a big thing. I would say the other component right now in my business is my leadership team. I personally was the bottleneck in my business and our growth when we were at that 12 agents. It was my vision that couldn't take me past. Like, I was the lid on our business. And I would say right now, with where the market's at, and I think Ben Kenny hit on this earlier, as well as, like, we're in a position now we got to go recruit more agents, right? If the market's down by 40%. And so just the leadership team seeing that vision, because we had gotten to a place where we're like, oh, we'll have 50 agents, we're great. And now we're at, oh, we have 90 agents, we'll be great. And now it's like, nope, 90 agents plus 40%. And so really for us, it's painting a bigger picture that we've got to go bigger to be able to create the same as what we had last year is probably our biggest thing that people aren't seeing of behind the scenes of running a big team.
So good. All right, here's the final round. It's the knowing what you know now question. Knowing what you know now, what would you change, what would you do differently, Dean, starting off?
Knowing what I know now, I would probably go from purely just coaching and training and holding them accountable from just metrics to inspiring and finding out a little bit about their individual goals. You know, I think we always want to coach them around our particular goals. And sometimes someone only wants to do 7 deals a year. We want them to do 15. We don't take the time to find out that's all they're capable of doing. And if that's all they're capable of doing, then I will coach them to their 7. For me, I made the mistake of trying to coach them to what I wanted, and so I would do it differently earlier.
Oh, that's great. Amazing. Jeff, knowing what you know now.
Knowing what I know now. Putting the right, or having the right people in the right seats. It's all fun when it starts and we're doing this crazy, amazing thing. And then if they're not in the right seats, they're not going to love the job. They're not going to have the responsibility and know what the responsibility is to do. Like you said, it's making sure that the company comes first and everybody's pouring into it, because by continuously pouring into this, we can take care of 150 agents and their families and the community, right? So I think when we first started, it was like, you be great at it. And they were like, yeah, what do I do? And we were like, we don't know. But you were here when it started. And that's unfair. That's unfair to, because then you start to ask people for things that they never signed up for. And it can hurt some relationships. So we had to learn that the tough way. So now it's, all right, cool. We explain the role, the responsibility, and that allows us to trust. So once we're able to give you something, it's yours. We're able to trust you with it. And that trust, you're allowed to make mistakes. Excuses are tools of incompetence that build monuments of nothingness. So we don't take those, but where can we grow from it? So that's one of the things.
Got it. Spring, knowing what you know now.
I would have scaled faster. So I think I had a limiting belief, 100%. Like, I thought everybody, to what Dean was saying, I thought everybody needed to want to be a top producer. I thought everybody should fit under like my mold of what my expectations. And I would have created a vehicle. I always like to say the team is the vehicle. You get to choose how fast you want to drive it. So if you want to sell 7 homes, great. If you want to sell 40 homes, great. I'll help you create it. I would have gone that direction a long time ago of not feeling like everybody had to be a top producer to be in my world. And I would have scaled. I would have brought on agents and really treated it like a business. I stayed in that messy middle for probably 10 years. And what I mean on the messy middle is like you have all the same expenses, all the same overhead, everything to grow and double your business without adding anything more. It was my own identity that kept me just stuck. And I would have put on that business owner hat and taken off the realtor hat a long time ago.
Amazing. All right, Corinne, bring us home. Knowing what you know now.
Yeah, when Dean started talking, I was like, Dean, did you read my notes? Because it literally was reflecting on how I was showing up as a leader, making an assumption that, actually I wasn't making an assumption, I wasn't actually putting myself and seeing it through the eyes of our agents. I was thinking about what I wanted, and then I was driving to that, like, you should do, you must do, you need to do, like, you need to make this many contacts. And I think one of the secrets to leadership is just firm, gentle pressure. Consistent, gentle pressure, rather, sorry. Consistent, gentle pressure, but taking them back to, like, why is it that you're here? Like, no different than what we do with our clients, right? Like, we can't give them the motivation to buy or sell a house, so just remembering and reminding them, because sometimes when they get into their emotions and they get uncertain and fearful and all the things that we all do, I feel like that's one of the best gifts actually that we can give them now is to remind them, hey, why is it that you're actually doing this? Like, this is an incredible industry. You could go anywhere and do anything, but you're here, you're choosing to do this. Like, let's go back to that and let it be their reasoning, and that's such an incredible driver that will take them far beyond the pressure that we're ever gonna put on them and kind of shaming them of like, like shitting all over them, basically, so.
Yeah, good.
Stop shitting on them.
Between the four of them, can you imagine how many coaching sessions that they have done? Thousands. So I'm gonna put them all on the spot for one last time. You can go in any order, this one. You're talking to an agent who wants to do better. Say they want to take their business and double it next year. Say they are at 10 deals and they want to go to 20. Go with that as the frame. What is one piece of advice that you give them? Let's go first.
One piece of advice, we're going to go from 10 to 20. Make sure your systems are in place. Make sure the partnerships that you have are leveraged. Make sure those partnerships are reciprocal, right? And I would say that make sure you don't forget, which I did, about your past clients. Most people do, which is crazy.
Got it. Yeah. All right. Something tactical. Go from 10 to 20. One piece of advice. Anyone? Yeah, Jeff, go for it.
Something tactical. What would I do? I would join a team, one. And then number two, I'd probably, we literally took a schedule for the agents and live by that schedule. Have priorities that can come in to that, but know what you're doing at 8 o'clock. Know what you're doing at 9, 10, 11, 12. Where are you supposed to be when you're not in front of a client? What should you be doing and how should you be doing it? And just keeping it very simple. Like, I would literally walk out and be like, hey, what you working on right now? And they'll be like, it's 11 o'clock, I'm doing this. After that, I got that. And then I'm gonna go meet with the TC to go over these 3 deals. And then I'm good to go on that. And then I have a showing at 5. Cool, keep up the good work.
So good.
That's the process, it's a system. They're in escrow.
So good. Corinne, something tactical takes them from 10 to 20.
Yeah, I would say the first thing is throw away the word goal. It's a trash word. It's make a commitment. Like, declare what that actual commitment is, because goal is just like, I'm gonna try, I wish. So it's like, declare what you're actually gonna do, and then look to see what is the number one challenge, like what's keeping the people up at night, right, that we serve, which I would say the number one objection we're getting right now is rates. So how well can we master having that conversation about rates? Do we have a lender maybe that offers a no-cost refi? That would be an option, right? Like, that could be a benefit. Do we know how to explain thoroughly appreciation and compare that and actually calculate it, sit side by side with a potential client to see how much they'd pay in additional interest on that higher interest rate but are they going to be up in appreciation? Are we comfortable? If we don't know how to calculate that, well, we're probably not going to practice it the first time on a client. And I look at that and I think that's like the #1 opportunity that we have and a skill set that we can build is just being so comfortable. I read something a couple days ago and it said, most agents know what's happening. Good agents understand what's happening. Great agents can explain what's happening, right? So can you sit side by side with the client and not feel, we don't want to be, who wants to be like that high pressure salesperson, right? Like nobody raises their hand. And so because we don't want to be seen that way, we stop when somebody says like, well, no, I'm on hold. I don't want to buy anything because rates are high. And we go, okay, I'll call you back next year. And it's like, no, stop. How many people did we do that with? You know, I mean, I was guilty of that even a couple of months ago. Instead of asking some more questions to somebody and about their situation, now they're in a position they can't even afford to buy something. So I'm going to get out of my own way and just want to ask a few more questions, come from curiosity and understand, can I actually take them there? Where if I don't ask it, like I'm irresponsible in the position I've taken as a real estate agent and as advisor in this industry to help them find a solution for something that they could actually be in a home today, if they actually understood the economics of it.
So good. All right, Spring, 10 to 20, bring us home.
First of all, I think we're in a skill-based market. So back to what Corinne was saying, you have to have a quality conversation, and I think the last few years have made it really easy for us to just jump when the client wants and not really understand and create that value. So I would say #1 thing is they need to invest in themselves and get into the right dialogues and having the proper conversations. The second thing I would advise is get into activity. Like, if you're wanting to double your business, then go double your output, which I know is not a sexy answer, but it's the truth, right? You gotta either get your skill set up or you gotta get into more activities, and honestly, it's both. This market's gonna require that you're investing in yourself and you're talking to enough people, whether it's you're great on the phones or you're gonna do some open houses or whatever that is. But if you're already at 10, I would just say what you did to get your 10, double down on what you did to get your 10 and increase your output.
So good. What makes, the folks sitting on stage are your partners. They're your partners at Real. And not only are they amazing team leaders, but they're amazing humans. So can we give all 4 of them an amazing round of applause for